Hello, I'm Rob Westervelt, editor of IHS Chemical Week, welcoming you to the 2017 World Petrochemical Conference in Houston. And I'm delighted to be joined by Cal Dooley, President and CEO of the American Chemistry Council. Cal, thanks for joining us.
I'm delighted to be back, Rob.
Thank you. Two things I want to get your get some impressions from you on. One on the regulatory side and also on the industry outlook side. Start with the industry outlook. Obviously a big year for industry. We have 4 world-scale crackers starting up. The capital spending cycle, which I know ACC tracks very closely, is peaking, or if not at a peak. What's your sense of the outlook for industry in 2017? What are you hearing from members? And obviously it's a critical year, but what does this mean for the U.S. chemical industry and manufacturing as well?
Well, I think what I'm hearing from the members of the American Chemistry Council is all very, very positive.
Yep.
I think everyone is now recognizing without question that we have a sustained competitive advantage globally because of low-price natural gas, which is obviously our feedstock. We're right now at about $180 billion in announced investments. And of that amount, about 46% of that is already being put in the ground. You got another about almost 45% that is in the planning and the permitting process. So we are very, very confident that you're going to continue to see this flood of new investment that is going to manifest itself in significant increases in chemical production here in the United States. And we even look out to the future is that we expect that you're going to see almost a doubling of our net trade balance in chemicals just really in the next 5 to 8 years. So a remarkable turn of events. And what's also interesting, of that $180 billion in new investment, over 61% of that is foreign direct investment. So companies around the world realize that the United States is a competitive advantage in chemical manufacturing, and they're using this as a platform to serve a global marketplace.
Great. I also get your views on the regulatory side. Obviously, a pretty big transition to President Trump. What does the new administration mean for the industry? Does it change your priorities at all, or what do you expect to happen in D.C. this year?
Well, when you look at the political landscape we have in the United States now, with the Trump administration, a Republican administration, a Republican majority in both in the House and the Senate, we really, as an industry, have an opportunity to play much more offense in terms of advancing our policy agenda. It means we have to be judicious and very intellectually consistent with taking a very science-based approach to advancing our policies. But I think we have the opportunity to try to, to moderate some of the regulations to ensure that they're being implemented and constructed in the most cost-effective manner to ensure that we are going to achieve enhanced environmental and safety objectives as well. So I think we have a real opportunity to, benefit the environment and health and security, but at the same time, right-sizing and these regulations to ensure that our industry can continue to maximize the competitive opportunities we have globally.
Okay. And what's the view on trade? Is there a concern that in this environment, trade may become more restrictive?
Yeah, well, as an industry, and a lot of people don't realize that the chemical industry in the United States represents about 14 cents of every dollar of exports. Yep. We are very trade dependent. We are one of the most pro-trade industries in the country. We are concerned with some of the rhetoric we hear coming out of some factions of the Trump administration, but we're also confident that any major modification of any of our existing trade agreements has to go through Congress. And we know that Congress will take a balanced approach to ensuring that we live up to our trade obligations, be they with bilateral, multilateral agreements. So we think at the end of the day, we're going to see a balanced trade agenda, and certainly it's in our interest not to see the United States backing away from providing leadership to try to secure greater trade liberalization globally.
Okay. And finally, I want to get your view on TSCA reform. Obviously a big year for implementation.
Right.
How is it rolling out? What's ACC's view, and what are your expectations for TSCA reform? point?
Well, I think, in spite of that we're in the midst of a transition from one administration to another, we're seeing progress with EPA's implementation of TSCA, or the modernized TSCA. We're confident that with this new incoming administration, we're going to see the implementation of TSCA in a manner that is clearly consistent with the congressional intent. People need to recognize that we embraced reform and modernization of TSCA as an industry because we saw a decline in the public's confidence in EPA's assessment of chemicals and their safety. So we need it to be done well, we need to be implemented correctly, and we're confident that we'll see that happen over the next year to 2 years.
Great. Well, Cal, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.